Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode. Hey, man, we getting really good at these episodes, man. Thank you for coming and check us out at the Wisdom Well podcast. I'm LJ.
I'm Larry.
Oh, man, we are back again, with another topic. How you been, bro? How you been?
Been good, man.
Yeah.
Doing good. Cannot complain at all. Very grateful, very grateful. Honored to be doing this with my brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, we've been talking a little bit this week, and, we haven't checked in as much as I would like to, but, we have been throwing out some ideas, and one of the things that came across my timeline was Lizzo quitting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the name of this episode is I Quit.
I quit.
We just getting started on our podcast, but I saw that, and I don't know all of the situation. I think she may have retracted that and said, I'm back.
Further clarified.
Clarify that. But I thought about that, and, us being, the deep thinkers that we are, and you guys engaging with us as well.
Thank you for engaging with us.
Yes, thank you for liking and subscribing and engaging.
Yep. Your comments are appreciated.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on that because I feel like we all get to a place where we just want to quit. We all get to that place where it's like, man, forget this and the horse you rode in on. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to encourage our fans and our subscribers and our people about, continuing on, man. Like when you really be feeling like, yo, I quit, bro.
We get it. We get there.
Yeah. And sharing some, maybe, I don't know if you have a story or something you may want to share, but or your thoughts on like how to keep going when you really do want to quit.
Oh man. I do have some thoughts around it, and the first thing I want to do is let's normalize feeling at some point in your journey of life, you just feel like I'm not it, and I'm not doing it, and I feel like a failure, and I need to normalize the fact that everybody has those feelings. Ooh. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO of a company and you've been doing it for 20 years, or you just started out with your own company at your kitchen table, you're first in, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or it's all in between. I think that, and then you and I, even starting this podcast, even this conversation that we're starting, I think there's many moments where you feel like, man, do I even have the intelligence, the wherewith to even start? And I think that was a huge thing for us to just start. It just start, and then the beginning is gonna be crazy, and you're gonna make mistakes, and but it's allowing yourself the joy of learning, right? But there are times along the way where you feel like, listen, I'm not doing well.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm excited. I'm excited about what that means for us. The ability to
because we're not gonna quit.
We're not gonna quit. We're not gonna quit. And I think they're probably one of the first things to really, like I said, the first thing is to normalize the fact that everyone fails, everyone makes mistakes, and I love that. I always love that idea of failing forward. Right?
Ooh, yeah.
I loved that. The concept of that.
The concept of
Even
that.
though, and then there's a book I think that we probably read. Daring Greatly.
Yeah.
And it's like one of my favorite quotes, and I think we should probably I'll look for it while we're talking.
Yeah.
But it just talks about how, the victory is not for the person who sits on the sidelines telling you how you could have done it better.
Ooh.
Like the victory goes to the person who is in the battlefield.
Yeah.
And I think it even says, I'm summarizing, but it's like marred and scarred and sweaty and bloody. Because for them, at least they dared greatly.
Wow.
Rather than just to sit around and just critique others, And I think, man, and I think we were talking about this too. I think that like in life and also in faith too, sometimes we can get really caught up in just like, and I might be stepping in it, but
It's
you know,
all right.
I'm
It's
gonna
all,
go
come
ahead
on,
and say
man.
it
It's all right.
because it's something that I feel like that we can get caught up in, and I don't feel like that's a spirit of God. Is we can get caught up in just testing other people's fruit. And just looking like, oh, that fruit, and just tasting and just critiquing other people's fruit.
Wow.
Right, but and I think the thing about it is that the other side
Knowing
of it is
that
that
your fruit is a lot more delicious.
well, yeah, we could say that. We could say,
Yeah,
oh,
right,
your
right.
fruit is not delicious.
Yeah.
But we would never, and I think this is the part where God is so good, because God not only he tries our fruit, and he does definitely tell us, hey, this is not good fruit.
Yes. Yeah.
But he also is very, very involved in the process of changing the soil,
wow.
of helping you transport. And also too, I heard this amazing sermon, and it talked about that sometimes the pruning is not necessarily always cutting the branches. It may be lifting them higher so they can get more sun.
Wow.
And that's a crazy concept.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
does that take? That takes
Yeah.
work.
Yep.
That takes walking with people. And man, this is it. It's
Patience.
like patience.
Yes, all
you know
of
what I'm
the
saying?
things, yeah.
So how many of us, like the fruit testers of the world, would actually not only test the fruit and say, hey, you know what, that does not taste good. That's not good fruit.
Wow.
But also stick around long enough in the person's life to be a part of the process of lifting them higher to the sun, so that their lives can bear more fruit.
Wow.
And so,
Wow, that's
and I
good.
think that's
That's so good.
like having a team around you when you go through those moments of you feel like complete failure, you know? And so I think that's a part of it, is community as well. So,
Man, a quick story.
Please.
Next to my place, they're building an apartment complex. And early on, and this is a quick story, so bear with me. Early on, the process, there was a building there, so they tore the building down. It was really noisy, and then it was super quiet for a while, and so you wouldn't hear anything. And then it was noise again, and then when you look around, they were building the ground, the foundation, right? And then it was quiet again, but you could still see them out there working every day, and it was like noisy, quiet, and I noticed, and I was just like, there's something in that, and I could hear God really saying like, there's a process in the building.
Ooh, that's good, bro.
There's
good.
a process
Yeah.
in the building,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Process in the chaos. It's a process in the noise.
man, and like, you're like, man, will they please just shut up? Like, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, and I'm over 40, so I'll be trying to get my naps in.
Yeah,
You know what
bro.
I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Like, I'm like, man, will they shut up? But there's a process in building a building.
That is so good.
And here in California, which is where we are in LA. By the way, coming live from the LA Lounge Studios. Shout out to AJ.
Shout out to AJ.
Like they worked when it rained, when it was cold, when it was warm. They were in there building the building. And I could really hear God saying, like, don't quit until the building is built. Like, you don't quit until the building's built. And they still have a long way to go. Like, the foundation is there,
Yeah.
but you still have to build.
Yeah.
And there will be times where I'm sure they were on top of that roof, like, bro, like,
Could you imagine? In the process, like you said, it was raining.
Yes,
There was raining. It was cold.
It has rain here in LA.
And that process probably got so messy. Messy. Like, just like, I don't want to be in it. I can't. It probably got so messy to the point where they had to slow down work in order to just to make sure that the progress could continue.
Yo,
But they did it, and I think that's huge.
and I could just see it, like,
Yeah.
don't stop until it's built.
Oof. And that's the thing.
Keep
It's like, here we
building
go.
until it's built.
And also too, they did it together.
Yes.
They had to communicate
Yes.
together.
Yes.
They had to, be in coordination, because somebody probably got a cold.
Yes.
Somebody, and so I think they built that structure within the context of community.
Right. And I think a lot of times we want it to just be like
Microwave.
It's done.
Yeah.
Like, I just walk in and live in the apartment.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but sometimes it doesn't quite work that way. Like, sometimes it takes a little bit of crying, a little
Yeah.
bit of chaos,
Yeah.
a little bit of quiet time.
Yeah.
Like certain moments will be really, really easy.
Yeah.
Certain moments will be really difficult during the building process, but you can't quit until it's built. Like,
Yeah.
you can't quit until it's done.
And that's the hard part. I think that's the part that tests our humanity. Because we are very prone to like, oh, I want to test the fruit on that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it don't taste good. Okay, next. And it's like, dude, you got
Right.
we got all this
got-
fruit on here and you tasted one piece of the fruit and
Right.
you was like, nah.
Right,
Or
right.
So it's like, or you come into one contact where like, oh, that wood is not the best. It has a chip in it. And
Yeah.
it's like, come on.
Man.
You got to keep on going. And I'm not saying let's navigate and let's love on lack of excellence. I am not saying that. I'm just saying, can we have and develop, and when I say we, I mean we, Larry Walker too. Just take time to really like get the essence of process
Yeah. Yeah.
and patience like you're talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
so that we can get an end result instead of just leaving halfway through and like and cutting people off.
Yeah.
And
Without
and
seeing the
cutting,
process through.
Yeah, and cutting projects
Without
off
seeing
and
it
things
through.
off. Without seeing it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's good, man.
I
That's
love, man.
like you always say, that's bars right there. That's bars right there.
And
Think about the noise.
And when I started to think about it, I'm like, man, like they're still not done. They're still not done. I mean, the toilet has to be installed.
Yeah.
The flooring has to be installed.
Still
The rooftop has to be like there's still a process
Yeah.
still continuing. And we're forever evolving, all of us. And so for those who honestly feel like quitting, where you're just like, man, F this, and I'm cool off this. I'm cool off
Yeah.
the music game, or I'm in real estate also, the real estate game, and I'm done with all this. There's seasons. There's seasons.
Wow.
And it's okay to be patient. It's okay to
It's a virtue, right?
man, to not feel like I got to keep up with the Jim and the Joes. Like,
Yeah.
let patience be your virtue for real, for real,
Yeah.
and allow the process to work out.
Yeah.
There are times where you really do feel like quitting, bro, and I know you've been there.
Yeah. I've been
You know,
there.
and you feel frustrated, but don't quit until the building is built.
Yeah. And I love, one thing that I feel like in this past seasons, I feel like sometimes when you in those spaces, and I think even in the book Daring Greatly, it talks about not fit for human consumption, and I think that's
hilarious.
fantastic
That's
because
hilarious.
it's like there are moments where you see yourself internally, like maybe crumbling or maybe pulling back. And sometimes you just have to get into a quiet place, and you're not giving up, but you do need a moment to get into a quiet place to take stock in what is happening, And I've been in seasons that way where I had to get quiet, get off the gram, get more in my word, or get in those sort of things, just so that you begin to hear from a voice that's not like everybody else around you.
Right.
And
Talking about normalizing something, let's
Come on.
let's normalize getting quiet.
wow.
And let's normalize just like chilling out for a second.
Yeah. Let's normalize not needing the approval of people, or let's normalize not having fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So FOMO, just like not let's normalize not that. Let's normalize disappearing to there's like an old Negro spiritual that says steal away to Jesus, steal away home. And so I ain't got long to stay here.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I love that just for what we're talking about right now, because it's like having that moment to get away and steal away unto Jesus.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
where it's like I can go to my faith, and I can talk to him and recenter myself. Because at the end of the day, I ain't got long to stay in this place.
Wow.
I'm not going to stay in this place of depression.
Yes.
I'm not going to stay in this this vessel or this sort of. I'm heading to a heavenly place, or I have a destination that is a greater in my purpose in my life. So,
If you don't mind, if you would be
Please.
so kind, tell us about. And I know we didn't prep this, but
No, it's good.
tell us about a low moment for you and how you got out of it. Like how you didn't quit.
Oof. Okay, so
As much as you would like to share, I mean,
yeah,
this is
no, I appreciate that.
millions of followers are watching.
Yeah.
And shout out to all our followers. What's up?
What's up? How y'all doing,
Love
family?
y'all.
And I
Appreciate y'all.
appreciate you guys even and please continue to like I said, tune in and
Yes,
share.
please.
And
Yes.
and your encouragement means a lot.
Yeah.
I'm saying to people who actually who comment, we just want to build a community of encouragement and safety
Yeah.
where you can share these things, because we all are having life experiences,
Yeah.
and we need human life experiences,
Right.
and we need each other to share a little bit more as it's appropriate. That would help us to know that we're not alone. And so I think I had a season where I was really going hard for a thing. I'll just share almost like a parable. I was really going hard for a thing, and this was a thing that I just felt so strongly that God had said that's the direction that you need to be taking. And I felt this in my spirit. And then now looking back and with a greater perspective and a wider perspective, now that I am through that season, I realized that at the beginning of that thing, God said, that ain't it.
Wow.
And I was, just
Wow.
because
Oof, that's tough.
I'm one of God's hard-headed kids, so that means
Aren't we all, though?
he loves me, and he's so patient with me.
Yeah.
And he repeats things to me. And so I, stayed in that space of moving along to what my heart, thought that God said. And then that space and that particular blessing had an expiration date. And when that
Wow.
expiration date came,
Ooh, that's tough.
I was not
That's tough.
personally ready.
Yeah. That's
And
tough.
I moved from a space of shock and disbelief to anger,
Mm-hmm.
and then anger with the Lord.
Yeah.
And then I moved from that place into a deep depression.
Yeah. Man.
Into about mourning the loss of that thing.
That thing, yeah.
And then in that process, God was very patient. Oh my gosh, it's so interesting because I even think about it, get a little emotional, because it's almost as if I basically kind of said to the Lord, it's almost like a teenager. Like I just walked up into my room and I turned around to slam that door.
Wow.
But the Lord shouted, "I love you."
Wow.
And before the door could close,
Wow. You could hear the voice.
the "I love you" just slid in the room and just basically enveloped me.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I was sitting in the room with that "I love you," and it took a space and season, and then I was then God opened up a door for me to do something new.
Wow.
And
yeah.
and it's so interesting because it came from left field, and then it allowed me to reconnect to the joy of who I am.
We don't always
Yeah.
know the
Yeah.
other side of God's blessing.
We don't know about it.
We don't know the other
Yeah.
side of the adversity also too,
Yeah.
right? Like
It's true.
you don't know the other side of it,
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I think that's kind of a full circle moment, and where he just never left me, and he spoke it for me. And so that's the lesson in it is really, really when you step into seasons, when you step into relationship, when you step into opportunity, make sure that you hear what the Lord is saying, because if we listen to the Lord at every single step along the way, then it will be much easier when he says jump. When he says take a left, when
Yeah.
he takes, and we won't be so attached to our own, will in
Yeah.
the midst of it. And a lot of times we do that. We have our own will, and we out here in these streets talking about God bless my will, God my will be done,
right.
my kingdom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we mask it under like, no, this is what the Lord is saying, and it's like he didn't say that.
Nah.
He didn't say that. And I mean, like I said, I've been guilty of that at least a few thousand times. But I appreciate God's patience with someone like myself. And guess what? He did not cancel me. He didn't do any of that.
Wow.
He just basically I really felt him say, okay, you might have dropped it, but guess what? My goal was never that you bring it to me in one piece. My goal was that you just walk towards me steadily. So stop the crying.
Yeah.
I'm not
Bars.
there. You just
Bars.
walk towards me.
Yeah.
Pick up those pieces. Pick up those broken pieces. Pick up. And also, here's another thing. Sometimes it's like, I've heard this in my seasons, be quiet.
Wow.
Be quiet and walk towards me. Because I think sometimes along the way we're hollering and we're throwing verbal acid out
Everywhere.
to people and just creating scars along the way.
Wow.
And when sometimes, if we're honest, we walked ourselves into that situation.
Wow.
And by being quiet, and sometimes we were forced, sometimes we were bruised, sometimes we were forced in spaces, sometimes we were attacked. But it's like, it's the being quiet that allows us to really understand that we do believe in God to like handle it.
Yeah.
Even if we were the perpetrators, because God is like, be quiet.
Wow.
Because and he's working on us, and it takes humility to really walk out this thing called life. And I think that humility is a huge thing.
Man, with all the noise that's going on, you know how hard it is to be quiet?
Yes.
Cause you're I mean, at least for me, and God is really working on me. I'll be like, I'm gonna get my hit back.
I'm gonna get my lick back. Oh my gosh! Oh, that is human nature.
You ain't gonna be talking to me. You ain't gonna be talking to me, crazy big fella.
We talking real.
We getting ready to. But
Bro.
But you're right. It is a real art to say, you know what, man? Let me chill and let you have that win because he's doing something better and bigger. Woo. And I need to chill. I need to really chill on what I may want to say and just allow.
It's the way it's actually our admission price to the better, to the greater.
Jesus Christ, Larry. See, this is
it's our admission price.
Okay, first off, and I do this every time.
Dude.
Shout out to AJ, our engineer producer.
Come on.
I need to see my camera. This is why we started this pod. I mean, come on, bro. Come on. Say that one more time.
Sometimes like our silence in the pride, because you do have every right and you deserve to be able to lash out at individuals. Sometimes the silence is the admission price into the greater. Because the thing about it is that we can and I have been guilty where you can literally mess up
everything
by talking.
Oof.
I think I have some friends. I learned this is interesting. I have a friend who I would not say his name, but he is a very intelligent and a genius brain when it comes to business and idea generation and incubators and things like that. And he works with a lot of great people and high level people. And I would always joke with him because, we'd hang around him and then he would get silent. Like, just, it feels like he disappeared. Right. And I was like, what? And all of a sudden he come back and not that he was abandoning us at all, but he'd come back and he would share, the stories of the victories.
Yeah.
And I would always say to him, I say, man, you get quiet when you are getting blessed. And he looked at me, he smiled. He was like, yeah.
Wow.
And I know that. So I've learned that when you're in the process of building something great and you're being worked on, sometimes that silence is great because you don't want to mess up what God is doing by talking about it too much. Because it's like, guess who else got ears? I hear the devil. The devil got ears too, and he can only because he's so unpowerful. He can only do what we allow. He only knows information that we share.
Oof, that's tough.
So sometimes, and that's a word for a lot of people that you're in a season. And I'm not saying you find the people you can talk to.
Yes.
Like this guy, for me, totally could talk to this guy. Same here. It's a safe space.
Yes, it is.
I celebrate, his wins. I celebrate. Yeah. He celebrates mine. And so I think that, and I would say, get you an individual or a team, a small individual. If that's your family, fantastic. If it's not your blood family, that's okay too. You and if it's just the Lord Jesus, that's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? That's powerful.
Yeah.
And you just pray about it and be silent in that season because again going back to that statement, if you feel like you have been wronged or in that space, sometimes I'm not promoting taking abuse. I'm not promoting that spirit either. If God is saying, shh, then do it because you got to know that the admission price into his greatest because he is fighting for you. I believe that.
Yes, he is absolutely.
He is fighting on your behalf.
And sometimes it really don't look like that. Sometimes it don't look. You be like, man, I'm getting ready to fight right now.
Exactly.
I'm getting ready to
I got my dukes up. I'm ready. I'm ready to go to it.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna fight for myself. You know what I'm saying?
And on the topic of not quitting, sometimes that silence is helping you win.
Oh my gosh.
On the topic of not quitting, that silence can help you just for you to gather, for you to take in, inventory and really just let God have it for a second. Like we don't need to interject as much as we feel like sometimes we need to, but this is one of those topics that we tossed around and I just want to encourage, our people to not quit, to don't quit. Don't give up. Like don't give up, and sometimes allowing your silence to be your best attribute before you say I quit, I'm done, I'm over it. Like sometimes sit back and just relax for a second and just chill out for a second and let the things kind of work out before we throw in the towel and quit. I mean, with all of the things that's going on, man, we need more hope. We need a little bit more encouragement.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm glad we was able to touch on this and say, man, don't quit yet.
Don't quit yet. You never know. And we're at this little disclaimer because we're about disclaimers up in here. Don't quit until God says, until let him have the final word on it. Let him end it. Because when he ends it, woo,
then it's for real finished.
It is clean.
Yeah.
And move swiftly and be okay with that when God says to move. Take a left or take a right, when he says move, So
I love that.
Yeah, man.
I love this topic.
All right.
Man, so good.
It's one of my favorite topics. It's
man, you guys, we appreciate you guys loving on us, supporting us. Man, we can't thank you guys enough. Like we're beyond over the moon, allowing us to share in these topics. Yeah, if you have any conversation pieces that you guys want to talk about in regards to hope, in regards to losing hope, in regards to really wanting to quit, Larry and I, with love, say don't quit. God loves you. He wants the best for you, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done. He don't look at you the way maybe another human may. Like he really loves you through a different lens, and just to keep going, like the faith, just keep going with the faith, keep going with with the plans that God has for you.
Yeah, and I do want to say that if you are in a space of depression, or mental health, where you need support, we definitely recommend therapy. we recommend, you seeking out support, professional support, if that's what you need, so that you can get to the 100% that you feel like you need to be at. And so just want to make sure that you do not feel any level of shame around that.
Yeah.
You going out and getting the help, whether that is medical help, or it's another, or if a counselor at your church, if you feel like that is good for you, there is no shame in talking to someone about these feelings of depression, or if you're feeling, ideation about suicide, we just want to we want to make sure that these are real things. These are real areas. And it's not an Instagram like, tantrum moment. These are real life moments, and some of us are dealing with real issues too. And some people, which we would not want you to choose to end your life. And I think we both would say that. So, we definitely would want you to seek out resources that will be of service to you. Okay, because that's very serious. We care about you too much, and you are valuable. You are valuable on this earth.
Yo, thank you guys for joining us. Another note on this: don't quit. Don't quit. You are a valuable piece to all of us.
Yeah.
I'm LJ.
I'm Larry.
We appreciate you for tuning in. Again, a quick shout out to one of our new brothers, AJ. Thank you for allowing us to share here at the LA Lounge Studio. We're gonna get him on. Man. We're gonna get him on to do like a Bay Part 3. Yo, thank you for tuning in. See you soon.
Bye.